10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
All right, welcome to another YouTube Live version of Islands in the League, presented by our friends at DraftKings. Game 4, over. Denver wins 113-111. The Denver Nuggets are going to the NBA Finals. Look, I want to get into some Nugget stuff in a second, but I will warn you that the discourse, because I know how this shit works. No, sorry, I'm not supposed to say that. I know how this works. The discourse will be over the next few days, because it looks like we'll have a little bit of break here before the finals. The discourse is going to be about LeBron and his legacy and what this loss to the Nuggets means. So I want to get into that first. Let me say, probably LeBron's best game of these playoffs. His first half, just spectacular, showing off an assortment of ways to get to the basket. Hit some threes, obviously a quieter second half, but the effort defensively down the stretch of that game, multiple stops on Jokic, a stop on Jamal Murray at the, forcing a shot clock violation, 2 charges on Nikola Jokic, just doing it on both ends of the floor, having 40, 10, and 9 in an elimination game. It's impressive. And the questions will be, does this enhance his legacy? Does it diminish his legacy? I don't really know how to answer that question, because in reality, I think LeBron's legacy, even if the Lakers had gone on to win a championship this season, I think his legacy is cemented. He's one of, in my opinion, the 2 greatest players ever. And I don't know that another championship is going to change it. I'll tell you what won't diminish his legacy, and that's taking this Lakers team to the conference finals. The reality is the Denver Nuggets were a better basketball team. They were a better basketball team, and they had the best player in the NBA right now in Nikola Jokic. And if you look at the Lakers, right, 2-10 to start the season, obviously the trades improved the roster, but then having to win a play-in game, having to beat the 2-seed Memphis Grizzlies, having to beat the defending champion Golden State Warriors, and then taking on the team that I think has played the best basketball in the Western Conference, and probably the best basketball along with the Miami Heat in the entire playoffs, the Denver Nuggets. Every single game in this series was a good game. There was no game 3 Boston Celtics getting blown out in Miami. The Lakers should be proud of what they were able to accomplish with this group since the All-Star break, since the trade deadline, and in this playoff run. Darvin Ham, great adjustments game to game. I mean, think about this. Tristan Thompson tonight giving meaningful minutes in the fourth quarter. A dunk and one. A stop on Jokic. Keeping loose balls. Like, this group, the group, Austin Reeves' growth this year, Roy Hachimura having huge moments in the playoffs, Anthony Davis dominating games in the playoffs. Obviously not a good offensive game for him tonight outside of getting to the free throw line. But this group should be proud of this season. I know that LeBron is the competitor, as a winner. He doesn't want to hear that shit. He doesn't want to hear that right now, but that's just the truth. That's just the truth. On the Nuggets, a few things. Nikola Jokic just had his 8th postseason triple-double this postseason. Just phenomenal basketball player all around. I thought down the stretch, you saw Tristan Thompson on him. You saw, obviously, AD on him. You saw Hachimura on him. You saw LeBron James on him. His ability to score against size is very impressive. And he had a tough one on Anthony Davis to go up 113-111 towards the end of a shot clock, drove by him, split Dennis Schroeder, and scored. The tough fall-away 3 off one leg, second time this series that he's done that over Anthony Davis. So just the shot making against really good defense. And then the other thing with the Nuggets, which I keep harping on, I haven't seen a team really find an answer to Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray in the two-man game. We talked about this morning on Old Man and the Three Things, from game 3, where down the stretch they're running inverted pick and rolls, Murray screening for Jokic. They score 3 times off of that. They run chase action where Jokic throws the pass and then goes and gets it from Murray. That's what Murray does with Jokic. It's dribble handoffs. It's pick and rolls. Those two just find a way, the intelligence level. And we saw that, they had a tough bucket down the stretch where Jamal Murray found Jokic in the pocket, scores over 2. Jokic finds Aaron Gordon on a slip pass where he's trying to get a rip screen on, or Jamal Murray's trying to get a rip screen on him. I just think the execution overall from the Denver Nuggets is excellent. And my question that I would pose to you guys, our viewers, our listeners, anyone who has watched the Eastern Conference, I don't know that the Miami Heat, I don't know that even the Boston Celtics, I don't think they're going to come back, but I don't know that they have the size for this Denver Nuggets team. Now, look, if it ends up being Miami, I'm not discrediting or doubting the Miami Heat and Eric Spoelstra and Jimmy Butler and the team that they have right now, playing with a lot of confidence, a lot of toughness, all that stuff. The size thing worries me a little bit with the Miami Heat, because I ultimately think that's what it'll end up being. A couple guys I do want to shout out. Aaron Gordon, a supreme game from him. 22 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 blocks, and then 2 huge stops down the stretch. Lakers call timeout with 3 or 4 seconds on the shot clock. They have it over in the corner. They get the ball to LeBron. They run a keep action. Gordon doesn't fall for the keep action. It's the old Draymond Green dribble like a dribble handoff. No, I'm going to keep it and go. He stays right with him, forces a tough one-legged fall away that hits the side of the backboard. And then, of course, the last stop, with some help from Jamal Murray, who came over and got his hands on the basketball as LeBron was going up. But I just thought overall Aaron Gordon was phenomenal. 3 threes as well. Hit a big one there in the fourth quarter. This Nuggets team is really good and really deep. It's not deep in the traditional sense of 9-10 guys, but deep in positional versatility, switchability, all that stuff, throwing bodies at different people. And if it ends up being the Miami Heat, they've got a lot of bodies to throw at Jimmy. Jimmy's excellent, and he's seen it all playoffs. He's seen it in multiple playoff runs now, where he's going to be guarded by a number of defenders, bigger defenders. Jimmy's so smart. He'll find the matchups if it ends up being the Miami Heat. But overall, just super impressed by the Denver Nuggets. And I do wonder, I guess that if it is the Miami Heat, because it's looking that way, I do wonder how Spoelstra is going to scheme for all of the Murray-Jokic two-man action, because they do it in so many different ways, as I mentioned. That probably will be the most fascinating part if it does end up being the Denver Nuggets and the Miami Heat. And the last thing I want to say before we go, all the stuff about ratings, I've seen a bunch of these takes on Twitter about the NBA wanting it to be Lakers Celtics. The ratings are going to stink, blah, blah, blah. Let me ask you a question. Who has been the 2 best players in the NBA playoffs this season? To me, it's been Nikola Jokic and Jimmy Butler. Now, you may think otherwise. To me, that's who it's been. Let's just, for the sake of argument, say they're the 2 of the 3 or 4 best players in the playoffs. Our league is driven on superstars. When I think about the things I like about superstars, the qualities that I like, competitive stamina, love of the game, love of competition, rising to the moment. I think about Jimmy Butler. I think about Nikola Jokic. Getting those 2 to square off in an NBA Finals with the chance for both of them to win their first championship. Are you kidding me? How great is that? Eric Spoelstra versus Mike Malone, 2 guys that have done an outstanding job in these playoffs of coaching and making adjustments. Like, come on, it's going to be great basketball. It's going to be great basketball if it ends up being Denver and Miami. Now, a lot to look forward to tomorrow with the Celtics and Heat. Let's see if the Celtics can answer and at least stay alive in these Eastern Conference Finals. But again, Jokic, Murray, Denver Nuggets, congrats to them. LeBron James and Lakers, lots to be proud of. Another episode of Islands in the League presented by DraftKings. Appreciate you guys.